they sent the married men home first, and the others, they didn't. The government of the day didn't want to bring everybody home at once, notwithstanding they'd been away for years. There would be too much unemployment. We went to the Celebes for another 6 months. At that stage, the war had ended, and we had to maintain the peace over there because the Dutch wanted to come back, and the Indonesians, of course, were opposed. Or the great majority were opposed to that. So we were 6 months in the Celebes. I had 1/3 of I was a captain at that later stage in the war. But
from there you went back to Australia, back to WA?
Yeah.
And what happened in WA? How did you go settling down in WA?
Oh, no problem at all. Yeah, no problem at all. I went up subsequently to Darwin for the disposal sales. They were selling all stuff up there incredibly cheaply. I had this peculiar experience. I sent John Taylor, who was a friend of mine, who was a mechanic, to go up and, to the first sale. He came back unimpressed or something. I went up to the second one, and I was buying these brand new Australian blankets, not out of the bale, and they were grey blanket, 3 and 6 each. Now, you could buy a semi-trailer for £600. I'd been an officer C for the whole of the year, war, 5.5 years, and officers were relatively highly paid. So I was one of the few that had, and I didn't spend it while I was away. You didn't have any opportunities, not that I would have, but I'd saved up a few £1,000s, which was quite a considerable amount then, enough to buy a house. Anyway, I went up and bought, you could buy a semi-trailer for £600. Then, so I bought these blankets, 2 semi-trailers, and took them down to Alice Springs. Then we sold the 2 semi-trailers, and then the blankets went on a train to Adelaide. I sold them there for £1 each, only because I had bought them with the object of sending them to Hong Kong. Those blankets were selling for £5 each in Hong Kong at that stage. But what I did was, when I bought the blankets, Darwin had been absolutely deserted. Homes were all vacant, and a lot. I looked around for one which was on stilts, I stored all these bales of blankets underneath, and I used to sleep on them at night just because other people had come and sleep on them too. Some of the people with Aboriginal friends, girls and that sort of thing, and be sleeping in various other parts, so I had to sleep there to ensure that they were kept. I was ready to, had them booked on a steamer to send them to Hong Kong, and the wharf lumpers went on strike. Well, they wanted sixpence or something, danger money, to load empty petrol drums on the ship. I had to wait another 6 weeks or something to put them on another ship. So rather than that, I bought those 2 semi-trailers and took them to Adelaide and sold them, or to Alice Springs and then to Adelaide. Because I wanted to contest the federal election as an independent. So I came back to Western Australia and contested there as an independent.
Did you get married when you come back?
No, I got married in 1949, 2 years later.
Mm-hmm. And when did you actually start the Second 16th Association? Because you're the president of the Second 16th Association.
Yeah, I didn't for a long time. I didn't have any contact with them, apart from the individuals. But I was a federal member, you see, state member in 1947. I resigned from the state parliament 2 years later, simply to contest the federal election. I went into the federal parliament in 1949 when Menzies was elected. and then we had 3 federal elections in 4 years. And then I came back into the state parliament and was remained there until I was resigned in 92, 43 years in the state and federal parliaments.
From all Australians, I want to thank you for giving us what we have today. You know, it's priceless what you guys did for us. And yeah, just I want to thank you very much.
Well, it's very nice of you to say that, but they were, unbelievable individuals, the men of the 21st Brigade.